call it Rock
Rock show.
Show,
Mhm.
and we're talking about Charlie Daniels that just died.
Yeah, thought we'd do a short tribute to Charlie Daniels. Nice guy, class act. You never heard
We
anything
can
bad
see
about him,
ourselves.
right?
Look,
What's that?
Mike, you see that? That's on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Excellent. 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 All right. So this is a new thing we're going to be doing, people. If you're watching, it's a little difficult these days for me and Rob to be in the same place at the same time, and plus we want to try to get some guests from all over the country. So we're going to try this new app.
Yeah, so we've been trying this. I bought it. It's SteamYard. It's $20 a month. Like if you get it for the whole year, it's $20 a month. I got the whole year thing. We're gonna see how this works. And
Right.
if you guys like it or whatever, let us know. Pretty much with this thing, I could do a lot of stuff because I can even put our name there. I can do all this stuff. Like look, Rocker Mike, Rob Rossi, they know who we are.
Excellent. Excellent. It looks
So,
good.
Mike, what do you have for us today, man, about
Well,
the
I thought
legendary
we would.
Charlie Daniels?
Yeah, I thought we would do like a very kind of like talk about a little different facts of his life that maybe people didn't know. Um, I always liked Charlie Daniels. He was around forever. Um, he was 83 when he died.
Amazing.
Um, yeah, long life. He had like almost a 60-year career in music. He started out as kind of a sessions guy, a songwriter for different people. But it became quickly clear after the first few years of that he would, have his own career going. He was talented enough that everybody pushed him for his own career. So it's an interesting. I mean, he was around for a long time. I mean, when I was a kid, when we were kids, right? The devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah,
That song,
you heard it everywhere.
you couldn't get away from that song in 1980, man. It was huge. 40 years ago already. Believe that? 40 years.
I can't, but that was one of the songs that they used to dance in Coyote Ugly. This
Yeah.
woman Jackie used to have Devil Go Down, and she had this step. I think once Jackie left Coyote Ugly, they got rid of the step that Jackie did. They had this step for that song, The Devil Go Down to Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a popular song. Sometimes you even hear it on the radio. Um, Interesting is Charlie was born October 28th, 1936, in Wilmington, North Carolina. I've actually been through there, and it's kind of like, as far as towns in North Carolina go, it's kind of like medium sized.
Yeah.
The cops are pricks in that town. I can tell you that much. I've been ticketed twice. Don't like New York plates, but he always said that when he was living there, there was like really nothing to do, and he just
Okay.
knew that he had to get out. He graduated high school in 1955, but at that point he was able to play guitar, mandolin, fiddle, and banjo. So he was multi-talented already at that young age.
Let me ask you a
Um,
question. He grew up with a lot of gospel music, right?
oh,
Pisticado
sure.
gospel music.
Yeah, that's the Bible Belt, so he
Yeah.
definitely grew up around that, especially in those days. Um, he's been. It's interesting. He didn't have a. He was a big star, but he didn't have a real crazy life. I mean, he was married to the same woman for 57 years. Her name was
Wow.
Hazel, and they were married since 1963. They had one son, Charlie Jr., and they lived in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, for many years. There's actually a park named after him in that town as well. It's a famous resident of there. Um, One thing that a lot of people didn't know, I think, unless you're really into Daniels, is he actually played with Bob Dylan for a while.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, on 3 albums between '69 and '70 that Dylan put out. He plays on my favorite Dylan album called Nashville Skyline. That's kind of like a country album. Okay.
Okay.
There's a duet with Johnny Cash on that album and stuff. But Charlie Daniels plays mostly bass on that album and guitar, a little bit of guitar, but mostly bass. He plays on Nashville Skyline, Self Portrait, and New Morning. Those 3 albums by Dylan between '69 and '70.
Wow.
Yeah, he also, did you know he wrote a song for Elvis?
No, I didn't know that. What was the song he wrote? Because I saw he it's co-wrote. It's a hurt me.
Yeah, it's called "It Hurts Me." Came out in 1964, and it was the B-side to the single of "Kissin' Cousins."
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was a song that he wrote with another songwriting crew that he was involved with, and it was something that he was thinking of doing, but he ended up Elvis was interested in it. I think one or two other people might have recorded it as well, but Elvis made the more famous version.
Wow.
Yeah.
The song you sent me today was, the what's it called? It was the Uneasy Rider was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean that song kind of put him on the map. All
Yep.
right, that was like in 1973. It was an album called "Honey in the Rock." I think it might have been his second or third album at that point. "Uneasy Rider" is kind of like a, I don't know, they classify it as a novelty song. It's more like
Yeah, that's what
a
they
good,
call it, novelty song.
yeah, yeah. It's more like just a good country song with a good story. That's the best thing about country music is all the stories.
That
So
that's
that
funny. That
song,
is.
yeah, that song actually got to number 9, I believe, on the country charts. It did pretty well. But between that time in '73 and 1979, when The Devil Went Down to Georgia came out, he had a couple albums, but he also played fiddle for the Marshall Tucker Band on
You know
several of
what?
their
I
albums.
did not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I actually forgot that. He played with so many people, you just kind of don't even realize it. But he played on, I think, 3 or 4 of their early albums, and by '79 he put out the album called Million Mile Reflections. I actually listened to it today for the first time in, oh man, I want to say 20 years. Probably I haven't listened to that album, maybe more.
Yeah.
And it holds up. It's kind of like, it always surprises me because it's not as country as you think. It's kind of like in the southern rock vein, almost like Lynyrd Skynyrd, not as heavy, but
Yeah, but
like,
it's definitely a lot more rock and roll upbeat, a lot more. It's good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's more of like a country rock album than it is straight up like country music of that time. Country music in the '70s was kind of like going in different directions. You had the traditional stuff, but then you had like even Johnny Cash was doing some different kinds of things. Um, Daniels had this great band with him. He always had good musicians, and on that album, they were recording it that year in '79, and they realized that they didn't have a song with a fiddle on it. They kind of forgot. So he had an idea. It was floating around his head for a while. Just that one lyric, "The Devil Went Down to Georgia," and he sat home one night and he just wrote the song. And he just thought about it. He says, "Okay, we'll do it like this," and I mean, it became an instant classic. I mean, when that came out, it was like huge. The country charts, it climbed up and went to number one. I think it was his only number one song that he ever had.
It reached number 3 in the Billboard's
The pop charts,
top
on the
one.
pop charts. Well,
Yeah.
what happened, Rob, was if you remember, in 1980, Urban Cowboy came out. Remember that movie with John
Yes.
Travolta, Deborah Winger, right?
Yes.
And there's a scene in that movie where Charlie's in it. He's playing himself. Okay, there's a quick cameo with him in it. And that movie was so big they ended up using the song, and that's when you first. I mean, unless you had the album, you didn't have the album. That's when you first heard the version where he says, "Okay, you son of a bitch, that's the best. I'm the best that's ever been." At the end, because it was always cut out on the radio. So that was like people's kind of, initiation to that version of it if you didn't have the album. But because of that scene in the movie with the song and him in it, it actually got to number 3 on the Billboard pop charts, and it was still number 1 on the country charts. Cool song.
That's it. He even did a sequel to the song.
Yeah, I was going to just bring that up. In 1993, there was a guy named Mark O'Connor who was a fiddle player, and he asked Charlie to play with him on this album. And Charlie wrote the sequel. It's called "The Devil Came Back to Georgia." Okay, because if you remember the words to the original, he says, if you ever want to come back, we could do this again, kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? So I guess the devil took him up on it, and he beats the devil again.
Wow.
I'm playing the fiddle. But what's interesting on that version is he doesn't sing it. Charlie Daniels. He
Who
doesn't sing it.
sings?
Johnny Cash, Mary Stewart, and Travis Tritt.
I was
Okay.
looking at why didn't he sing? Why was
I
everybody
don't know. I don't know. I guess they wanted to make it different, I guess, but he doesn't sing on it. He doesn't sing on it. It's okay. It's interesting. It's the original's better, but it's okay.
You want to hear something funny about that? He's in like Guitar Hero 3. The Devil Go
Isn't
Down
it
to
like
Georgia.
yeah, but it's like a heavy metal version
It's
of
a
that
heavy
song.
metal one, but it's
I
the
think
Devil
I
Go
think he
Down
didn't
to
approve of
Georgia.
that. He didn't like it, right?
They just put that. Let me tell you, Aerosmith made more money doing the Guitar Heroes than anything else. So
Let me tell you something. I've talked to so many, teenagers or people in their early 20s, teenagers. They only know like music I know because of Guitar Hero.
yeah,
Okay. My son Sebastian. One
yeah,
time I was playing Schools Out in the car by Alice Cooper. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I know this from the video game." I'm like, I'm like, oh.
yeah. But this guy Charlie Daniel hated the fucking metal version. He's like, "Fuck this shit." He was like,
Yeah, he didn't like it. He didn't like it. I never heard it. Is it like real heavy? Does it have the fiddle in it, or is it just all
It's
guitar?
metal. It got to be metal. I really do.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I haven't played Guitar Hero. Like I play video game, but like Guitar Hero is not like one of the shit I would play.
Nah,
It's not for me. But they got like drums. They got like you can make a band just playing.
I've played it like 2 times in my life just to check it out. It's not my thing either.
No, I never played it. Like I play video games. I don't play that shit.
Nah, I play shit that people die in. I don't play Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I play what is that Call of Duty? I play a few times and I curse too much. I've been banned from the site a few times.
Got banned from it. That's funny. Now, one thing about Charlie especially over the last like 10 years or so, 15 years or so, is he was pretty politically outspoken, right?
Yeah,
And but that really didn't start just 15, 20 years ago, because even during the 1980 Iranian hostage crisis, he wrote a song, and it was called "In America," and it was kind of like a patriotic song.
yeah,
He had no problem writing lyrics that would basically tell people to go fuck themselves. Like he
yeah,
had a song. He had a song in the '70s called "Long Haired Country Boy" in the mid '70s.
yeah. It's no yeah, country
Like,
boy.
yeah, he's just like, if you don't like my long hair pot smoking ways, don't pay attention, leave me alone.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. So he had that song in America in 1980. In 1981, he wrote a song called "Still in Saigon," which was kind of dedicated to the Vietnam War veterans of the time. But over the years, especially in the last 10, 15 years, he had become like pretty right wing. He wasn't always that way. He actually was invited by Jimmy Carter in '76 to
Yeah.
play at the inaugural ball. Believe it or not. But I mean, he didn't have a problem with that, but he had a problem with certain things over the last few years. I know he didn't like
Yeah.
Barack Obama that much.
Nah, he did. He was very outspoken. You want to hear something funny about him? Also, he was on Hank Widger's Jr. backup for the Monday Night Football. Are you ready for some football? He's a backup in there.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember
You know?
seeing him a couple times. Yeah. I think he did it a couple of times, right?
He did it a few times.
Yeah. What's
And he's like in the Hall of Fame for like he's in the Country Hall of Fame.
yeah, and they actually have a whole exhibit dedicated to
Yeah.
him, the Country Music Hall of Fame. He only got in like about 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's
So,
interesting. Like his life is it's very interesting.
he,
He was even a guest on on King of the Hill.
yeah, I was gonna mention like his sort of filmography that he has. You know,
Yeah.
he had like 13 total appearances, mostly on TV, and a couple of films. But in almost everything, he plays himself.
He always played himself. He was in
Yeah.
He was a guest in Saturday Night Live. He
Yep.
was in the
19.
Fall Guy. He was the Lone
Yep.
Star Kid. He was even in the episode Murder She Wrote.
Yep. And, well, that one I think he acted. He played a different character with that. He didn't play himself.
Oh
But
no.
I was looking it up, and he had 30 studio albums, 8 live albums, 4 best ofs. He had in total 54 singles released in his career. One number one out of all those. He made 4 Christmas albums, and he made 21 music videos.
That's amazing.
I mean, really,
That's a life.
it's a lot. It's a whole life right there.
I think,
He will be missed. That's for sure.
I think he's getting. Is he getting buried? I think he's getting buried in Nashville, right? He died in Nashville, right? Supposedly he had a stroke in Nashville.
I think it was in Nashville. I didn't hear anything about him being buried yet. I guess that'll be soon.
That'll be soon because they already said it's gonna be like they got already detailed stuff for the memorial. You know, the funeral service memorial. The dates are getting set up as we speak right now. You know.
I'm sure there'll be a who's who of country music stars there. And hey, look, maybe Bob Dylan will show up. He's been he's been around lately because he has like a new song out and stuff like that, and maybe he'll show up.
Yeah, so he's getting buried. I think on Friday.
Oh, really? Okay, you're looking that up now.
A funeral for the Grand Ole Opry member. The thing is set for 11 a.m. Friday at the World Outreach Church. So yeah, so his funeral is this Friday, and it's like,
Wow.
and then you look at the guests. There's going to be a bunch of Nashville people. There's going to be a bunch of people singing too. They're going to do a performance and everything for him.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, so that's this Friday. You know what? If you think about it, they might even show it like maybe you need like the country station or something. Will probably show it.
What is that?
CMT.
CMT, right? If you have that, I think it's CMT.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. They're gonna have pretty much the funeral arrangement and everything for him, and they're gonna be some singers and well, probably some other. I can see like some other station picking it up and just showing it because he was such a defining character, you know.
Yeah, he was beloved by a lot of people. Hey, listen, many a time Doc Holiday's I've listened to Charlie Daniels getting lumped up. They got a couple of CDs in there.
They played that. They played a lot of Chinese. Charlie Daniels, a lot of Hank Williams. You know how to do it in Doc Holliday. That's the way they roll.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, so this is like a little tribute show for the late great Charlie Daniels. Mike, how can we get in touch with you if we want to talk to you?
Okay, you can find me on Instagram, RockerMike212. You can find me on Twitter, RockerMike3. You can find me on Facebook under Michael Baker. That's my real name. And you can also find me and Rob. Nice mask. Nice. Awesome.
Lumped up, baby.
Lumped up. Right. I got to get my rocker one. I know you got one for me.
We got one for you, man. These are courtesy of Not So White Anthony did these.
Oh, awesome.
So
he designed them. Can they be washed?
He came with the mic. He also
wash
got
them?
one for Freak John. I got yours also. He delivered Gina. He gave Gina the one for Freak John. So let's see what happens. So we got these things. If you want them, talk to me. They're $15. You'll get a lumped up face mask. People want them. So yeah, I gotta give Anthony some money, $15 for a mask, and it works good, you know.
Help promote us. Definitely got to help promote us a little bit.
Yeah, definitely promote it.
Also, I got we have the new Rockshow podcast group page.
Yep.
on Facebook. If you're not in that yet, please join up. Rockshow Podcast group page. All kinds of stuff going on there. I'm posting all the time. All the shows will be on there. News, information, little things like this, little shorts.
Yep.
So it'll be cool.
And
Very
I got a little breaking news myself.
What's that?
So the Rossi rant will now be part of the conspiracy show.
I like that.
It'll be 10 minutes of me just fucking shitting on stuff, whatever.
Yep.
So there will no longer be a single Rossi's rant. The Rossi rant will now be on Conspiracy 420. It'll be a segment of the show, and it'll be a rant that I do for 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll get a response from Mike once I lose my fucking mind.
Yeah. After I calm you down, I'll respond.
You mean like this tequila calm me down? Woo!
There you go.
All right, so people, remember how we do on the show. Don't get drunk. Get lumped up. See you soon. Have a good one, people.
Take care.
Take care.